was like basically women who are naked all weekend doing these rituals, trying to find healing, and not realizing once again that this is really demons.
Our world seems to be getting weirder by the day, but in reality, there is nothing new under the sun. Modern day New Age spirituality is just a freshly painted facade for old pagan practices, and Michaela, like millions of others, got pulled into it. The innocent-looking meetings that she was attending soon turned into disturbing rituals, and she tells us all about it in this interview.
And so I was now ending my sophomore year of college and believing like, God isn't real, but the universe is real. Like now the universe is my God. So I ended up moving to Arizona to be with this boyfriend, and this yoga school that I had been looking at online is right down the road from me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the universe brought me here. Like I'm meant to go to this school. So it was at this yoga school that tarot cards got presented to me for the first time, now in this new, sparkly, alluring way. And I was like, oh yeah, that could be a cool way to connect with, God and your spirit guides and the universe and all these things. A lot of people in these spaces did, like the other classes at this school were like Reiki, angel healing, shamanism, meditation classes. So all these people were kind of dabbling in all these classes. So I'm getting exposed to all these ideas and essentially teachings from fallen angels. And white witchcraft was also a thing. I made a friend here. She was my first friend, and she would go to these witchcraft circles. And I saw it as a good thing. I saw it as fellow broken people who were kind of rebels of the system and weren't going to be subservient to the patriarchy, but they too wanted to heal and find freedom and all these things. So it was like we would meet in these witchcraft circles and we would be focused on healing, healing ourselves, healing the collective, healing together. So I didn't think any of it was bad. I didn't realize that these were teachings from demons or any of these things. At the same time, the main yoga teacher of my program was this super I don't even know how to explain this lady. Like she's like the next level, like the kind of guru that you would see like get famous and be on big stages for teaching these things and leading empowerment for women and stuff like this. And at this point, I'm just like this broken, acne-faced, insecure girl who's trying to find her healing, trying to find her power. And so I look at this lady like, oh my gosh, like I want to be just like her. And her teachings were actually so radical that she got kicked out of being a teacher from the program, from the yoga program. But she began her own programs for healing. And I'm not going to say exactly what her business is called, but it was based on ISTA. And ISTA is a program, I don't know if I'd call it a program, but it stands for International School of Temple Arts. And they go all around the world. They have these conferences in different places. Like I think they've had them in like Iceland, and they've had them in Phoenix, Arizona. They have them all over. And it's all these people who come together and basically do sex magic. And you don't call it that though. Like you look at it as an inner healing, inner empowerment, feminine empowerment, learning intimacy building, learning to speak your desires, fears, and boundaries. But she began replicating these bigger events into a smaller scale in Phoenix, Arizona. And so I began to be really involved with this, even to the point where I was like a co-facilitator with her. I was on her website, and it was all these rituals, like these like death rituals, yoni painting, which is like painting your, and printing it on paper. And this is a part of healing your feminine, and soul gazing, where you're looking into the eyes of another person to see their soul and to heal yourself. And it was like basically women who are naked all weekend doing these rituals, trying to find healing, and not realizing once again that like this is really demons capitalizing on our vulnerabilities and coming in through our traumas and just making things worse. Like we think that these things are going to heal us, but the only solution that you're given is at the next workshop, ayahuasca, some kind of drug, or, this guru, or the universe, or even worse and more scary is yourself, that you yourself are going to heal yourself. And it's just this weight that you feel to evolve and heal. And sex magic is really just a part of that. It's, to explain more specifically, like what that is, it started with these breath works together where we would sit with each other, like kind of in crisscross applesauce, and you would wrap your legs around the other person and you would come heart to heart and you would hug and you would breathe as you're lifting the energy up. And so you're moving your body, lifting up what they would call the Kundalini energy, and you're moving it through the chakras. So going back into the Hinduism is you're bringing this energy up from the base chakra all the way out the crown of your head, and you're trying to manifest, you're trying to heal, you're trying to open your chakras. But then it gets darker from there because it starts with just breath and clothes on, or light clothes, and next thing I know, it's full on what she would call womb healing, where these women are like fingering each other basically and calling it womb healing. Yeah. And so just like these darker, crazier things are happening, and I'm thinking it's in the name of healing. But deep inside too, my intuition is kind of going off. Like, I don't want, like, I was just hoping like
Right.
I'm not the example, or to be paired with her to do this sort of thing. Somebody else can do that. Like, I don't need womb healing, like my red flags are going off.
Well, that's what I was going to ask too, because anyone with a sane mind looks at this and this is totally crazy nonsense. But you were so, I guess, brainwashed that part of you thought that this was okay. And I guess your red flags came up at that point, which I would say is probably a little too late already.
Too late.
I'm just very confused as to how people can truly think that this is good, because this is just perversion under the guise of healing.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing, because since so many people are duped into it, my thought is there must be something happening there. It can't just be like nothing, because if nothing happened, nobody would go. So was there something tangible that you experienced there, and how did that start, and how did that transition later?
That's a good question. I feel like the main thing that I was experiencing was what I thought was empowerment. I thought, the more empowered I felt, the more I felt like I was healing from these child traumas of being, because like when I was young, I was very shy, very insecure, very quiet. I had to be intoxicated to talk to boys or people or go in public places. Like that used to be my crutch. And so the more I found this empowerment inside, I thought that I was healing from my childhood traumas. But really, it's like this spiritual pride of Satan and of his demons that are coming in and giving you this false sense of self. So that's what I noticed. And the big thing too is that these practices are what led me into the strip club round 2, because I thought this is going to be a continuation of my healing and of my empowerment and of the goddess rising inside of me. And so all of these practices really desensitized me to sex work and thinking that this was like noble work and sacred prostitution. I was thinking like this was like a sacred thing, and that you help men heal by breathing with them and being intimate with them and like soul gazing with them and teaching them about their astrological charts and their emotions. And so now I'm thinking I'm going to go back into the strip club round 2 this time, as a part of continuing to heal myself and empower myself, and B, as a part of helping heal the collective, because these men need this kind of healing too.
Mm-hmm.
So I was so brainwashed by the devil, and I didn't realize I was selling myself. But shortly after I got back into the strip club, I did start numbing and coping with alcohol and hard drugs again. Hard drugs as in like cocaine and like hitting the bong, stuff like that. Like I never did meth or heroin or anything like this, but it's just crazy how much deception I was in to think like this is what I was really doing. But at the same time, I'm numbing and coping again to just live with myself and the things that I was now doing for money again.